Microsoft Flight Simulator as a base package provides quite an extensive number of features and functionality, which is great as it means less need for add-ons which can bog down your simulator and make it generally more unstable. There are, however, a few things that could be added to your MSFS installation to improve the overall experience and add some extra things to it, at all for no additional cost to you. Today, I want to look at the 10 additions for Microsoft Flight Simulator that I think are worth installing into your own simulation to improve the experience overall. FS Economy is an economy-based add-on for a variety of simulators including Microsoft Flight Simulator. It allows you to earn income by doing various jobs around the world and adds management aspects to your simulation by requiring you to rent aircraft, find jobs, pay for fuel, manage FBOs, and much more. I enjoy using this add-on personally as it gives me a purpose to my flights, allowing me to feel as if I have achieved something from performing a flight rather than just flying from two randomly chosen airports. FS Economy has its issues like being quite outdated compared to modern standards, not having an up-to-date airport database, and generally a reluctance to innovate, but as of right now it is the only add-on for Microsoft Flight Simulator that creates a sort of persistent world, in which real players can interact with the game world, such as buying aircraft from other players, renting their aircraft, and more. An alternative to FS Economy would be NeoFly, but as of making this video, you would be missing out on the persistent world aspect as NeoFly is more of a single player type ordeal rather than a persistent multiplayer world. I would still recommend it to anyone who wants to make their flights feel more worthwhile. The Cessna 208B Grand Caravan EX Improvement mod is an addition for Microsoft Flight Simulator that improves upon the stock Cessna 208 Grand Caravan. It improves it by correcting various values relating to the flight model to what the POH states, adding different operating messages to the CAS, adding engine failure if you mismanage the engines, and fixing a lot of other various systems to make the Grand Caravan just that bit more realistic. If you fly the Grand Caravan in MSFS quite a lot, this add-on is for you as it will improve the overall experience of flying the Grand Caravan and will allow you to use the Pilot Operating Handbook more effectively since the values are more in line with what would be expected in terms of performance from the real aircraft. Little Navmap is an application that runs outside of the Microsoft Flight Simulator environment. It allows you to plan for flights before entering the simulator and provides a wealth of information such as airspace restrictions, SIDS and stars, approaches, airport information, and much more. It is a very versatile tool and I can especially recommend it for anyone that is doing VFR flying in MSFS where the country you are flying in does not provide easily accessible VFR charts. This tool has made flight planning for me so much easier and it can do so much in just a small package. This application is totally free, so it wouldn't hurt to install it and give it a try to see if it's your cup of tea when it comes to flight planning. Shift-Z Stats is an addition for Microsoft Flight Simulator that brings back the old stats that were available in older editions of Microsoft Flight Simulator, like FSX and Prepared. It provides a wealth of information such as latitude, longitude, altitude, magnetic heading, winds, FPS, Gs, fuel, and sim rate. All of this information can prove to be quite useful if you need it in a pinch, and the addition of being able to see the sim rate will help pilots that use time compression as you can easily match it back to the real time when you're ready to start your descent or any other aspect of flight. It is a lightweight add-on and works very well, so I'd recommend it to anyone that wants to see this kind of information in flight. Volanta is an external application that tracks your flights as you fly and progress through them. Volanta allows me to track my flights effortlessly and makes it so that I can remember the general path and events that occurred during that flight. You can also create aircraft for your fleet so that you can track the individual statistics of certain aircraft using their tail number. I like using Volanta as it keeps a record of all the flying that I have done, giving me a sense of purpose to doing flights, like how FS Economy did. It's well worth using and it's free to use. It has a premium subscription option that unlocks certain features, but the main tracking features are totally free to use. You can also view what other people are doing and how their flights are going, which lets you have an easy way of tracking the flight status of friends and other various flight simmers. Toolbar Pushback is a plugin available for MSFS that lets you set pre-planned pushbacks and generally have more control over how the pushback operation is going to be performed. The main issue with the way MSFS handles pushbacks is that it uses the ATC system, which has a delay when trying to convey commands to the pushback truck. This can make it difficult to push back effectively, as you may end up a bit too far off or not close enough to where you want it to push back to. With toolbar pushback, you can easily make it so that you set up a plan of where you want to push back to, commence it, then continue with the checks you were doing in the cockpit, such as starting the engines and verifying that they are running normally. It reduces your workload as a pilot within the simulator and generally adds more immersion to your simulator, so I can highly recommend toolbar pushback. The Salty 747 is an add-on that improves upon the default 747 available within Microsoft Flight Simulator. Default aircraft within the simulator tend to be lacking when it comes to the actual flight and systems modeling, but the Salty 747 looks to solve that by bringing a more immersive simulation of the Boeing 747. It improves upon aspects such as the FMC, MFDs, PFDs, and much more. This addition is well worth it if you want to fly the 747, as the realism it provides is much better than the stock 747. It is also totally free and wouldn't hurt you at all to install it and give it a try. This mod also works with aircraft like the Captain Sim 777, improving that from being lower fidelity to a bit less low fidelity. It's a great mod and certainly one you should give a try. SimBrief is a web-based application that allows for easy planning of flights for a IFR-based situation. It's mainly used by simmers that are into simulating airline operations, as it provides one of the best OFP generators on the market. The OFP is laid out quite well and various layouts can be chosen if that is something you like to do. It also provides routes and helps in choosing the most efficient routes based on conditions like IFPS validation, real-world routes, and much more. The briefing package that is provided after flight plan generation can help you with managing your flight, fuel, and other various factors of the flight and generally increases realism and immersion within your simulator. It's a great tool and it's free to use, but you can't use the latest AirRack unless you have a Navigraph Ultimate or FMS Data subscription, so that is something to keep in mind. It is still highly worth using in my opinion. Working Title has made quite a few additions for MSFS. The two major ones that they are actively working on are the G1000 NXI and CJ4 for MSFS. The G1000 NXI is an amazing addition that replaces the stock G1000 that ships with Microsoft Flight Simulator. It can be found on the marketplace for free, and while it is not complete yet, it provides an amazing amount of features to the G1000 suite that make it much more accurate. It's also unique as it is one of the first few renditions of the G1000 NXI variant available in a flight simulator, compared to what most flight simulators use right now, which is the older G1000 unit. The Working Title CJ4 is also an amazing add-on that you should grab, as it provides an improved CJ4 that has a better FMS and generally more functionality. If business jets are something you like to fly, then the CJ4 is definitely for you. It can also be used on FS Economy to make money on there as well and do charter-based operations, which is something to look into if you decided to get FS Economy. Working Title has also made improvement mods for the G3000 and G3X, which are not as updated but are much better than using the stock G3000 and G3X available within the simulator. All of these add-ons can be grabbed at Working Title's website for free. The fly-by-wire A32NX is essentially what the Zibo 737 is for the X-Plane 11 community. This add-on looks to improve the default A320neo to the most realistic rendition of the A320neo in a simulator. It is a community effort that is open source, meaning if you have the knowledge of coding, modeling, or other various skills needed in the development of an aircraft, you can contribute to the project as well yourself. The aircraft itself has shown quite a lot of promise since its introduction, as it provides features like an EFB, realistic LNAV implementation, a custom-coded MCDU, sound improvements, and more. It's one of the best add-ons available for MSFS at a price of free and is highly worth picking up. The same team is also working on an A380, which will also be a freeware and provide the same level of depth as the fly-by-wire A32NX, so keep an eye out for that as well. Microsoft Flight Simulator is looking promising when it comes down to freeware additions. With so many great add-ons and projects coming along, there is bound to be a lot of content for you to enjoy. This list is just a simple list of what I found to be the most useful or enjoyable for myself, but there is much more available for you to find yourself. My recommendation is to browse through flightsim.to, an add-on website for MSFS add-ons, and see for yourself what you might want. Hopefully this list has shown you something new that you might have grabbed for yourself. That will conclude this video. Thank you very much for watching, and please leave a like and subscribe for more content like this video. Take care, and have yourselves a good one.